Today we're going to be making an underwater sculpture with air-dry clay. My name is LaDara McKinnon, a teaching artist at Clayworks in Charlotte, North Carolina. This video is presented by Clayworks in Charlotte, North Carolina, and sponsored by Culture Blocks, a community partnership between ASC, Charlotte Mecklenburg Library, Mecklenburg County Park and Recs, to bring arts and culture experiences closer to where residents live. Culture Blocks is funded by Mecklenburg County. What came in your kit is air-dry clay, acrylic paint, a skewer, and a paintbrush. What you will need from home: a workspace, a small dish of water, and items found around the house for texture. To get started, we are going to divide our clay in half for a pinch pot. Pinch pot, a technique of putting your thumb in a ball of clay and pinching from the bottom up to create an opening in clay. One of the halves, we're going to shape it into a ball by rolling it in our hands or on the table. Once it's rolled, you're going to take one thumb and stick it directly in the center of your ball of clay. Then you're going to start from the bottom up, gently pinching in a circular motion. You're going to pinch from the bottom up. Don't worry about making the rim too thin, right? We want the rim to stay pretty thick, almost as thick as your pinky's would, because this is the base of our sculpture. Once you're done pinching your pinch pot, you're going to use just a little bit of water to smooth out the rim of your pinch pot. Now that we're done with our pinch pot, we're going to move it to the side. We're going to take just a small piece of clay, maybe about 1/3 of your extra clay, to make a smaller pinch pot for our crab. Once you have that little pinch pot pinched, we're going to be using that for the body of our crab. We're going to score and slip to attach. Score and slip. Score, the process of incising surface of wet or leather hard clay in a cross-hatching pattern before applying slip and joining clay. Slip is watered down clay used for joining clay together. For this project, we will be using water. When you're scoring, you're going to use the sharp end of your stick to really score the surfaces. We want these to be pretty rough, not really neat at all. And then you're going to use that smaller pinch pot to figure out where you need to score on your larger pinch pot. Then you're going to tap on water with one finger for the glue to attach the two pieces of clay together. Now it's time to create some crab legs with coils. Coil, a rolled out rope of clay like a worm or a snake. When rolling a coil, you want to get a chunky piece of clay and roll it in your hands back and forth as if you were cold. Then you're going to start from the center and work your way out to roll the coil thinner. If your coil gets too dry, put just a little bit of water on your fingers to help roll out your coil. Before we attach our coil, we're going to just sketch out on our clay where our legs are going to be placed. Crabs have 8 legs, so I'm drawing 8 different lines of where I want my crab legs to come from. Then I'm going to score my whole coil for my legs. Before I attach the legs for my coil, I'm going to tap on water on my whole coil. When attaching the legs, I'm going to place the coil down first and then pinch off the excess coil. And then press down the clay into the pinch pot. And then use water on top of them to smooth them into the pinch pot. For the 2 legs in the front, I'm going to pinch off a little piece of my coil. and shape it into a C and then pinch the end so it looks like little claws. Then I'm going to attach them by slipping and scoring. Then I'm gonna attach a really small piece of clay for the arm. I'm gonna do the same process for the other claw. The next step for our crab is to just sketch out our face for your crab. Your face can have any type of expression. I'm going to use a smiley face and 2 eyes. Now it's time to sketch out decorations for the outside for underwater. You can have seaweed, you can place a star, a coral, whatever it is that you want your underwater to look like. I'm using seaweed to start out with. We want to make sure that we pre-plan before attaching clay. I'm using the extra bit of coil I had left and rolling it out a little bit thinner for my seaweed and coral. Once it's rolled out really well, I'm going to be attaching them the same exact way that I attached the crab leg. The only difference is that I'm going to put water down and gently move the clay so it looks like moving seaweed instead of it just being up and down. I'm going to continue the same process for the other seaweed and coral that I sketched out. Now I'm going to create some smaller pieces of coil by making a small ball, slipping and scoring it, and putting a small dot in the center of it. These can also be bubbles if you wanted them to be. Next, I'm going to create a starfish by gently rolling a small ball of clay, then gently squishing the ball of clay to make it flat, then pinching 5 corners of a star. And of course, slipping and score so it doesn't fall off later. Lastly, I'm going to make a shell by rolling up a small ball, then squishing it and curving it over just a little, like a miniature pinch pot, then drawing lines across it and slipping and score it. Now I'm going to make a 3D face on my crab by rolling 2 small balls and poking holes in them, and then using another really small coil for the smile. Isn't that adorable? Now I'm gonna let my underwater sculpture dry for 24 hours or when my air dry clay turns white. Now that my sculpture is dry, I'm going to make some light blue with a lot of white and a little bit of blue. You want to mix more than enough because we have a lot of underwater to paint. When painting the blue, you want to take your time because there's so many little bits and pieces that we have to go around. You can add just a little hint of water to your blue paint so it moves around a little bit easier. When you finish painting all of the water, you're going to let this dry for about 3 minutes. Now it's time to paint your crab. You can have a red crab, there's blue crabs, it's really up to you. I chose red. I'm just going to do a 1 layer on top of my crab. Now it's time to paint some coral. Coral is usually very colorful, pinks, purples, oranges, greens. I'm going for pink and a hint of purple. To paint my purple coral, I'm going to use the pink that's on my brush and mix it with the blue to make purple. I'm painting my smaller coils black. Yours can be any color you would like. Then I'm going to paint my star yellow. Make sure your brush is really clean because yellow is very transparent. And I'm going to paint my shell the same color as well. And lastly, I'm going to paint black eyes and a smile. Yours can be any color that you would like. And there you have it, an underwater sculpture. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you to our partners.